As you see right here, it's not too much, but it's about to start blooming. Oh, it's good weather out. You can tell that right here in Texas, you got a little wind chill every now and again. I got me a little bottle of water, getting a little hot. How you doing? This is welcome to LA. So, just to give you a little information on what we've been doing, we've been obviously in the garden. What you find in the garden, you find a lot of stuff. You find a lot of plants, animals, roots. You find your good, you find your weeds, and you find your bad. And just based on that, you can get many examples of how to live your life. And being married, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot. I'm just gonna turn it over to A. Since I did a little introduction, I'll let her do a little introduction too.
Thank you, honey. I appreciate that so much. Well, as you know, since you said that we have been working hard in the garden, yes, we have. There was one thing that I also wanted to talk to y'all about. Not only just are we working hard in the garden, it's also establishing something that we are able to build up together as being married, and finding something to do on a level ground with each other. Yes, you're not going to see eye to eye all the time. You're so not, because for the simple fact is, the devil gets busy. So, you just need to know that all the time that even you're working out there with your husband, you're going to want to choke him out sometimes. But hey, he wants to choke you out too, so just remember that, because, we're not always on the eye-to-eye level, and that's okay too, though, because at the end of the day, you don't ever let the sun go down over your wrath, because you do overcome and you apologize. One of you's got to learn to put your pride aside, which I'm the one that really has to learn how to put my pride aside sometimes. Yeah, and he's pointing fingers, but you see he's got one more pointing right back at him. Yeah, and that's okay too. But now there was also this one thing that Luke wanted. He wanted a wish terrier tree. Now everybody knows that a wish terrier is like a big tree with vines on it. Especially if you don't prune it right, if you don't take care of it, it'll overthrow all of your trees and it'll overtake them. And and knowing that right there, Luke wanted one so bad. So we went and we found one out in kind of the woods. Yes, very nice. It was a little wind. It was a small wind, So Luke grabbed his shovel, right? And he's sitting there and he's digging. I'm talking, he's digging this root up. Well, we have to find out, whenever he starts pulling, this thing has major roots on it. It looks like the size of trees that are going into the ground. And this is to remind you, this is a tree that ain't no bigger than my leg right here. Okay, and so in that sense, what we have learned as a life lesson is no matter how big that you are, no matter how small you are, or whatever you've done, it doesn't matter if you just now started walking with Christ or not. The thing is even if you're just now starting to look at your roots are what's going to be planted firm within the Lord. And that's what we learned from this little bitty tree, is that its roots were massive, and no weapon and no wind could ever stand against it, because it could not be uprooted. But we also learned that that's also where the devil starts attacking us at. The devil starts attacking us at our roots. And when we was trying to pull it up, it wasn't coming. And that's when we realized, I was just like, baby, that's not coming up. We gotta have something else to get that root up. And then I said, you know what? I said, that's a life lesson right there. And he said, you know what? You're right. You're sure right. And I'm gonna turn it over to Luke and let him explain what he got out of that.
Good, thank you. Whenever we was pulling this root up, I tell you what, the outside looks flimsy and all good to go. I thought I was about to cut this root and get on down the road and say, shoot, I got my wish here. I'm ready to make it flourish. Well, I tell you what, I got down there with I said, dang, let the devil get me on this one. I said, I guess God had this one planted quite alright, because it wasn't the devil, you know, but God put that plant there. But what I meant by that is, well, I tell you what, I tried and tried and tried. And when I looked at these roots, they were good and healthy. And we thought just because, like we said, it's a little tree, so let's get it before it roots out real big. And we got a big hole. Man, I tell you what, these roots on it were massive. And I said, my God, this is a big root, and you can just learn a lot from it, like we were talking about. That's just like in a relationship, you have your roots. As you begin your relationship, your marriage with your partner, you're starting to intertwine your roots. And yeah, you know, it's normal that, you know, weeds, let's say weeds come up in your marriage. Okay, weeds now is going to be the adversary coming in and trying to take your roots and intertwine himself within those roots. And that's when you get separation. That's when you get lost communication. And, you know, we're finding this out as we're gardening. And that, you know, it all becomes into a trust issue as well. You know, we talked on this, but we really like to go into depth with this because as we get intertwined into our garden and into our spiritual life and, you know, gathering information here and gathering information here, then we find that we find a lot of stuff to relate to everyday life, just like us as human beings go about and do. So as we're making our beautiful garden, it hasn't sprang up yet, but you just give it a little bit, maybe a couple months, you know, we're going to be seeing our harvest. So in the process of all this, you know, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take dedication. You know, you have to be in place. You have to be ready for what comes in. You have to recognize it. You have to, just as every day, you have to see, okay, is our spirit right? If our spirit is not right, we need to go to the Lord first of all and see what's going on. It's just like in the garden. If you got weeds growing with each other, then they're going to bunch up, they're going to intertwine, they're going to start going to the next item that they can nurture off of, feed off of, and dwell that down and shrink it down to make it to where it's, you know, no more and it's overgrown and it's eating all the good parts of that plant off there. Let the plant out to dry, to die up. So that's what, you know, that's what the devil tries to do. He uses us up. He uses us up in marriages. But how does he do that? Causing no communication, bad communication, causing, you know, relationship problems, you know, causing where in your life that it's going left, it's going right, but you're not going on the straight and narrow, which he, you know, that's where he wants us to go, just go straight and narrow. He came down here, he died for us. Why are we worried about the adversary trying to even come in if, you know, we're living a life like Christ? Why should we have no trust issues? You know, why should we have all these worries? When he came and he already died for us for that. You know, these are the little simple things. So I'm just going to turn it back over to you. I know you got some information on that, you know, just what I covered right there. But it's going to turn back over to A and see what she got to say about that. Because I know she'll be on the same level. We're going 100.
Thank you. Appreciate you so much. First of all, I want to say if you didn't watch my seminar that was put out there on YouTube, well, here's another glimpse of that. When I went to this seminar, I also learned that a wise woman builds herself up, but a foolish woman will tear her house down. So to all you ladies, if you don't know what that means, I'm just going to break it down for you. What that means is that when you are tearing your husband down, which is saying that you're no good, I should have done better, you're worthless, you're crappy. If you are saying hateful things like that to your husband, you're tearing him down. And the one thing that you need to be doing is building him up and having respect, because once you show your husband that you have respect for him and that you start really being obedient to the Lord, I said then you'll see that your husband will turn around, because then he will notice the good in you. Now, ain't nobody can do that unless you turn your life over to Christ and learn to build him part in also, not just only in building your husband up, it's also building your marriage up. And God sees that you're working really, really hard out there with your hands because you got to get dirty. You got to get dirty, women. But you got to, I mean, you do. If you can't get dirty, then what's the point? You're not willing to work for it. And that's the thing. You're willing to just give up on something that God put together. How can you let that go down? How can we allow weeds to overtake what God so blessed us with? He blessed you with a good man. If he wasn't a good man, he would have never married you in the first place. All right? That's right. So here's my thing, and man, that goes for you too. You never would have married her if she wasn't a good man. Now, sometimes you can tear her down with the words that you say, telling her that, she's this, or she's lazy, or she's lacking, or, verbal abuse sometimes, it really does, it hurts. It hurts your wife.